So, welcome to today. I'm Christine.
I'm Liz.
And we are Double D-Fense. We're an all-female New York Rangers podcast, bringing you fun conversation about our New York Rangers, the NHL and hockey, and so much more. Thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.
I was tired. Who stayed up way past? Well, I didn't. I was ready. I would have been asleep by midnight had I not been texted by the kids and everybody like at midnight. Happy New Year. Otherwise, I would have been asleep. It would have been good. East Coast version of the New Year was good enough for me.
Well, it's so funny because in LA, they don't do anything for New Year's. So all they do is rebroadcast the East Coast feed of the ball dropping anyway. So we watched it at 9. I'm like, why do I have to watch this again? I've already seen it.
I'm good. Yeah, it was good. We had some fireworks and stuff here. How was your New Year's Eve, Michele?
Oh, it was very nice. You know, I did like a party at an over 55 community. So we started at 5 p.m. It was great. Everybody was done by 9. So
that's perfect.
I'll tell you the truth. It was perfect because everybody came hungry, and because they want to eat, of course, right away. And we all hung out until about 9:30, and it was time to say adios. So it was very nice. I had lots of food. And then, well, you guys have been to Vizcaya. So across the way, there's a community that does fireworks. So it was just like the extra topping, and they were really good fireworks. So we all went out on the lanai and watched the fireworks, very typically Florida. So it was nice. Thank you. It was good New Year's.
Okay.
I wonder if the New York Rangers spent New Year's Eve in Florida because they don't have to be anywhere until tomorrow. So for those of us just joining, Happy New Year. Welcome to the first episode of 2025 for Double D-Fense. We're your all-female New York Rangers and NHL hockey podcast. And today we have with us our very special East Coast correspondent, Florida correspondent, my mom, Michele, who was lucky enough or unlucky enough to attend the Rangers-Panthers game on December 30th. Obviously, the Rangers have been in just a massive downward tailspin of a season. I know Christine has some thoughts. I have some thoughts. I'd love to hear from Michele, what the vibe was, especially, obviously you have a lot of New York Rangers fans in Florida. Were people? How are people feeling? You must have gotten a sense. From everybody what the vibe was.
Okay, well, here's what I want to say. Being that the Panthers came off the win of the Stanley Cup, the enthusiasm at that stadium is so tremendous and so different than in the past. So
but the roars were louder.
The Cats, let's go Cats, and it's very, very catchy. It's very, very catchy. What do they say? Go Cats, go Cats, go. Very catchy, wonderful.
I was looking for a meme on how to punch a panther, but I couldn't find one. And I'll tell you something. On TV, when they're yelling, "Let's go Panthers," it really sounds like "Let's go Rangers." So
it's the same.
You can't tell. You cannot tell.
You cannot tell on TV.
But there were clearly way more Panthers fans this year. Also, having done it in the past 3 years, they were always there approximately New Year's Day, day before New Year's Eve, whatever. And the tickets were very expensive, like a year out. But now, closer to the game, they were, they moderated. They moderated a bit. So I think, well, I'm getting in on it the beginning, but then they moderated. It was an interesting game. I mean, the way it started, this was funny. Liz was funny because we were texting a little bit during the game. And in the first period, they scored, 3 minutes in, the Panthers scored. So
that's a shame.
So
Yeah,
Liz, so,
typical.
so Liz says,
We're givers. We are givers. We like to their team feel good about themselves.
so that's what Liz said. Liz says, what took so long? Okay, that was her. That was her response.
So I'll tell you, I
took so long?
believe when I was listening to the game the other day, they were saying this yesterday, or not yesterday. Well, the Panther game may have been the 17th game this season where the Rangers have allowed a goal within the first 5 minutes of the game. So I might be off one or two. I might be right on the money, but it's way too much.
Either way, it's too much.
Clearly has been a sign of how the game's going to get played. And so it's very interesting, to see that. But they had a really good comeback in the second, and
they did. At the end of the first, it was a 2-0, and then at one point it went to 3-3 in the second period.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, God, might go into overtime. Who knows?
I wanted that point so bad.
That was so
yelling,
so bad.
Just get a point.
So short-lived.
Yeah.
It's like, and the beginning of the second period was really dull. I mean, nothing was going on. And then after they did the 3-3, it went 4-3, 5-3, and that kind of was that was really the best.
Yeah, that vibe is just nothing.
It was very frustrating about that game because I had so we've obviously been, we were there last year. The Rangers from last year could go down 2-0 easily, and it wouldn't even be a question that the team would fight back and find a way to win. They found those ways to win. This year, when they went down 2-0, I mean, first of all, it was amazing they even tied it. That was something we hadn't seen in a while. This was actually one of the best played Ranger games in a long time. They just couldn't figure out how to actually win. Whereas last year, I think the same team would have found a way to win that.
So there was talk about, toward the end of the game, they had the Panthers had the penalty. It was actually 6-on-4. I watched delayed. So sometimes I'll just put the app on. So I'm kind of watching the score, knowing that something may or may not happen. And look, the shining stars have been Hedel, Cooley, Panarin. And instead of putting, these guys are, I think Hedel or, on that 6-on-4, they put out they
put Zibanejad out, who can't play hockey anymore.
They're still investing in, in these guys that aren't producing. And that was their fallback at this time last year when we were all at that game, right? We were talking about it. Like the third and fourth line were producing so much, but yet they continue to play like the Kreider, Mika line. Now they're splitting these lines up. This is where I've been debating or discussing, people who are coming to me saying what's wrong. And I'm like, well, look, first of all, I'm not in the locker room. And what we see is only a portion of what's going on with them. I don't think as a team, as players, I think there's just a lot of inconsistencies that, that they can't get a handle on really what's wrong. And I think it's going to take a few more games. We got some tough games coming up. I think this Igor being out on, IR is going to, I'm just curious to see the next game as we have Quick and Dominga in. So, and seeing how that kind of helps, because I know we've had discussions on they play better defense, they don't play better defense. I just want to see how it mixes up. But unfortunately, they've mixed up. They don't have Mika and his boyfriend together anymore. And they're moving him. They're moving Kreider out. Zach Kreider out. They're pulling people up every day. I'm looking and I'm seeing someone's being called up from the Wolfpack. Someone's being sent down. We still don't have any consistency, and that's not a player thing. That's a coach and management thing. And I'm also seeing, here's what I'm thinking, and I don't want to see it. If it doesn't start to fix itself, we're not the worst team in the league, by the way. So, everyone should, compare it to some of these other teams that are just not doing well at all, losing more. But if we don't correct it, I think that Laviolette could be, an unfortunate expense to what I think is actually coming up from higher. And I don't want to see that.
I don't think he's the one to blame. It feels like an overall issue with I don't know if it's arrogance or what. Like they were resting on like certain laurels from last year and assuming that the same things would work. But I think, you mentioned this, Christine, a while ago about how the other teams like can really clock them. Like they have these guys, they know their moves. And I don't think the Rangers were prepared for how well versed other teams would be in how to beat them. And the scheme tricks are just not working for these guys anymore.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you on that point. I think right now everybody has our number. They know exactly how to get out there and get a start, and that's why they're scoring within the first 5 minutes. We have this weakness, and they're they're finding every single little piece, and they're eating them up. But that makes the other teams just smarter and better each time, and so it might not necessarily be like what the Rangers can do about it. Like, I mean, again, they need to get more consistency on, and that's a coach and a management thing. So, and I really feel like the coach is just getting directed to do these things from above, and he doesn't have a lot of choice. So, and then how are these guys going to really kind of, how do you communicate with your line when your line's constantly changing, so they can only do so much, and then they get these bursts of energy. They all, they still on the ice all have the ability to be that team they were like a year ago.
Yeah, it's just now they're playing. It's like everything is compounding on itself. Now they're playing so desperately, and that's how it came across in the. I mean, maybe not the entire game. And Michele, you should talk a little bit more about what you observed, especially as the game got later. But it almost seemed like the Rangers played a very well played game, and the Panthers were just faster, they were sharper, and they were just more strategic.
I would have to agree with that. They definitely look better than the Rangers. I mean, the whole time that they were skating, even at the very end when they were just killing time because they know they seriously had to win. They were passing well and they were making it look like they're good hockey players. And at the time when there was at the goal, they were making those shots when it looked so chaotic.
I'm going to step in
total chaos.
Disagree with some of those damn goals.
Did they make that?
Okay, there was a BS goal that was given.
Yeah.
Again, we're having problems with this goalie interference. I mean, when that guy sat up and he had, first of all, they're saying that the puck was stopped by Igor and that it should have been whistled and not allowed in. And then
this was the second goal, right?
Second goal.
Yeah.
And then when the guy, when he kind of sat up, his Igor's stick was on the other side of his. So that right there was like, why isn't it? And then of course everyone's bitching and moaning because they had already called a challenge, on that first one and lost. So now they could have challenged it, but at a higher risk, so they chose not to and just move on. So look, there's missed opportunities that way too. So, all right, could this game have been different if they hadn't called a challenge on the first one and then they used it to call a challenge and pull it back? Absolutely. But, we're also getting caught up in a series of unfortunate events, So,
that game, if you took that game on its own.
They have great shots.
Yeah, if you took that game on its own, you would go, that was just kind of fluky. It could have gone either way. It happened to not go the Rangers' way. It's just when you look at it in the context of this entire season, what transpired over the last 2 months, that's where, I don't know, I start getting against the wall. And
every game is a new beast that they have to manage,
Totally. But look at, the first goal, wasn't the first goal scored by Lindgren, who has literally done nothing this season? Like he's scored.
Like our goal, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that means you can do it.
I'm saying that they're all capable of doing it. And if you just took that game on its own, you'd go, okay, there's potential here. Maybe Mika was having an off night, but Mika's had an off night now, and he had a terrible game. I think Mika specifically and Miller absolutely looked terrible.
Well, here's the question, okay? Why do you think the coach said that why are you thinking he's putting him out there and giving him that time when he's not actually producing? That's the question no one can really answer. Why do you think that's happening?
Literally no idea. Because to me, everything in that moment, the decisions that a coach would make, especially as Michele was talking about that last play of the game, the Rangers are now 6-on-4. You've pulled your goalie, and Hedl, who's had a fantastic game, is sitting while Zibanejad is out, and Zibanejad can't. He's just not making plays. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's
you don't put the guys out that are scoring. Yeah, no, that one and that was the biggest, I think, comment and the biggest kind of
one of the things that there were people sitting in front of us, and of course I had to talk about the Double D-Fense, right? And I was saying, that I was saying, Liz and Christine, and they're the ones who do it. They said, well, one of the guys said, tell them that his name is Zibanejad. So that was his little nickname.
Very, very clever. If those gentlemen are listening, Zibanejad, very clever.
Zibanejad. And you should
know my favorite is Zibanejad can't take a shot. There's been a lot going around.
So hopefully they're listening, because of course we exchange numbers, and because as in Florida, and Liz will attest to that, maybe you can too, Christine. People talk to each other. We really do talk.
Believe me, New Yorkers are talking to each other too. New Yorkers actually
talk to
each other too much.
They've all quit. They've all quit on this team for the moment, but they'll all be watching the game again, so they could do it again.
I don't think that they've quit on the team yet, because people wouldn't be angry. They wouldn't be as angry on the message boards if they had quit yet. If they had quit, they wouldn't be there. They still care. We all still care. We obviously all still care. We're all still here. We're all showing up. We know that these things go up and down. This is why we've built this community, not just for the good times, for the terribly shitty times which we're in right now.
Of course.
It
could go either way, really. I'm
the other day
I feel more optimistic also.
Look, the other day they were in a position to be 5 points away from the bottom and 5 points away from a playoff position. So they're saying they're quickly kind of running out of time. I think also Larry Brooks is, I think, just an article where he's like the team's giving up on the coach and whatever. So it sounds like what started a couple weeks ago with an injury, and people out, and the rumors. The other rumor I'm hearing is that Mika is ready to waive his.
I heard that too, but I don't know. They've been saying that forever, though. So I don't know.
I have not heard that until this last week. So again, I don't entertain rumors, though. It's just out there. But unfortunately, with those other ones that were swirling before Trouba got traded, and the way we did, the way he did it, the way that the Rangers management has handled this team, because here's my thought. My thought is that they traded Trouba. They needed to get some extra cash to pay Igor and ink him in, because they were losing time on that. And so he was an expense for that. And then the interesting thing about Kakko getting traded is he sat out, and then he spoke out, and then he was gone. So was it all something that was already, pre-calculated? We don't know these things. All we can, kind of see is the pattern that we are observers as a fan. So that's why all these people posting all their stuff, it's all garbage. And they just want to post what they want to post for stuff. My opinion is that there's something really big and heavy coming down from the top, and who knows what's happening in that locker room. The reporters are coming out, and we're seeing their comments. The article is interesting about how the Rangers are kind of giving up on the coach. So again, what do you do if you have a directive for management to sit sit Kreider out, or pull somebody else up, or do this, and then you on the fly have to kind of work it out when they, I almost feel like they haven't even practiced this. There's just appears to be just disorganization in.
Well, look at what's going on when you look at MSG as a whole. There's a whole dispute right now happening with Optimum Cable.
That was everybody's New Year's Eve present.
Yeah, so you're now punishing the fans So MSG, the network, is now not available on a major cable provider in New York. You are now punishing the fans for something. How is that okay when teams like the Dallas Stars and the Ducks they're all moving to a free service? They're trying to spread the word. They're trying to give fans access. Meanwhile, something's happening at MSG where it's all for the bottom line dollar. And you can tell that from the very top down. And maybe that's what's happening, really behind the scenes here. Maybe it is all about this bottom line dollar and not actually the love of the game anymore. It's just very interesting that that's happening at the same time.
Look, as I was saying before, based on the game the other day, I think that their offensive line should just be like Hedl, Cooley, Panarin. Everybody else just should be playing defense. They should not do anything else. Don't even try, because you're not doing it. Defense and see. Because we are getting shots off. We're not getting goals. Defense can be playing better. Igor's, the other thing is like Igor's kind of letting in some soft goals the other night, which was the game that we kind of went la la la, and then it was like the 2 short-handed goals. I'm like driving in, I'm like to your place, and I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then right at the end, like there was a short, I was like, oh, forget it. And then we had it on for a while, and then I didn't even want anyone to give me an update. When I saw the score, I was like, look,
someone put on football, and I was like, you know what? That's fine.
And we were watching cricket too. And then I'm like, hey, look, look, turn it over. And this is what I'm telling people to watch something different. Like my gift is a Sirens jersey that my kids gave me, which is fun. And I was like, let me go watch that. They lost too. But watching the women play, I'm telling you, you see the plays and you see the moves you really want to see in the Rangers, and as well as other NHL teams too. So I know I've been posting a bunch of those great moves that I'm seeing what the women do.
Christine, I don't know about you, but I love the experience. Well, I do know about you, actually. We both love the experience of watching hockey live. There's something about being in the arena, feeling the chill of the ice, watching the players live that is just the best.
It definitely is a good experience, and we do it a lot. In fact, I just did it.
Yeah, you were just in New York, right?
I was in New York a few times celebrating. So yeah, from the home opener, which was fantastic, to hitting up a couple games ad hoc, it's been really fun. So look, when I'm in New York, one of the best things to do is I'll wait till last minute to get game tickets, and I will go to Game Time app to look for the tickets. We did that for Florida too. It's great because you have an all one view of the best prices and the best seats in the house. They always have deals, which is great too. And their deals are really good. I've kind of gotten us tickets to Vegas and New York games on some of those deal prices that they have. Yeah.
And Game Time also has tickets for absolutely everything, not just hockey. They have concerts, they have everything. And they have a new feature called Game Time. They have a new thing called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier, filters out all the fluff. So you only get incredible deals on great seats.
That's the best. And they have the all-in pricing is really a key. And I think Game Time is one of the leaders in doing that too, because you don't want to get to your checkout, and we've all done this on other ones, where you're ready to pay and it's double the price. So the all-in pricing just shows you what you're looking at, and again, all in one view, which is my favorite.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm on the Game Time app now, and I could look up. I know we're talking about going to the Vegas Golden Knights Rangers game coming up soon. So all I have to do is open the app, search Vegas Golden Knights or New York Rangers, up come the seats. I can just click on any game that I want, and it will show me all-in pricing. It'll show me the view that I will get from my seat. It's really awesome. It's a super deal.
Our challenge is how many can we get in the same section, because our group keeps growing and growing. So they do have that too, from single seats to group seats there too. So
it looks like we can get up to 18 tickets. So for our friends who are listening, we'll all coordinate and we'll all figure out where we're going to be sitting for Vegas Golden Knights, New York Rangers coming up.
18.
Yeah. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
It's game time. Happy New Year. Hey, you guys, it is the most wonderful time of the year for getting in on all the hoops, football, and of course, hockey action at DraftKings Sportsbook. So if you guys are ready, it's the season of giving still. You know, we're being gifted college football and basketball, pro football, basketball, and, you know, of course, the NHL with everything going on. And it's almost 24/7 that we're getting all these wonderful gifts. So here's a gift for all of the new customers to DraftKings. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Happy holidays from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive award. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. Stand up. I want to see I want a little fashion show. So this is for those of you listening on audio only, Christine is wearing a Sirens jersey. So that's the New York Sirens. Yes. It's teal blue and orange. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Love the colors.
So you got the three colors right there with a little bit of gray in there. And so really a really nice gift. Yeah. So that was care of my kids. Now I'm gonna have to start decorating with my jerseys. Now I have a lot because I
like the banners, by the way.
Huh? And then we got
mine actually is up there. I can't figure out which direction.
I like them very much.
I know we're working.
That was courtesy of.
I have my Ranger Santa. So, but this, you know, it's a banner. It's a little it's a little workout towel. It's a little scarf. It's very.
And I'm just gonna mention this. I'm wearing a New York or Nowhere hat. This was a gift from Christine. This is Henrik Lundqvist's line. Gift. Yeah, this was Henrik Lundqvist's line. So, I mean, if we can't celebrate a Rangers win, maybe we could all celebrate the cool gear that we received during the holidays. So, if you guys have anything cool to share with us, we would love to see pictures. Please send them our way. We're always looking for cool Rangers accessories, which is not something you find covered on most podcasts, I will say.
Well, I just want to add one thing in the tradition of Double D-Fense where we do the cocktail pairing. I have a cocktail for you. And one of the cocktails, I have two. Okay, now one of them is being that their victory, well, not their victory, but their comeback was so short-lived. It really was. We're going to give that drink, we're going to call that one, I had written it down. It's called a Suffering Bastard. And that's, I think it's a very good drink. And it's actually a real drink. It has 5 ingredients, bourbon, gin, lime juice, bitters, and ginger ale. So that, could work. It's, I don't know. It sounds, I just like the name. But the real
take my mind off the game when it's not good.
Real name, I'm going to say for this game, and only for this game, is Loser. And what's the drink that goes with Loser? Diet Coke. So that is my drink for this game, Diet Coke.
Oh, I almost picked, I forgot what I picked actually, but I almost picked Everclear.
yeah, we're getting to the Everclear part of the season.
But I kind of kept it more positive. Like it was the last game of the year.
That was just the evaluation of this game. This is and nothing to do with the whole season.
Well, They are not appropriate for half of this season.
Yeah.
So, and it has come up, but we do kind of look at it game by game, or at least I do with the drink.
Look at it game by game.
So what happened? Let's talk about Igor, who has just gone on the injured list. What happened during the game? So I see that he's out with an upper body injury. I saw there were a number of scuffles that happened in that game, but was this like the one incident where yeah,
he got laid out flat for that one. That looked like a brutal hit. I was surprised, because he kind of stayed down for a few seconds and then got up. But he played fine, and usually you see him kind of shake it off. And
nobody was really talking about that until I heard about this later on. So
it came out midday yesterday. Yeah,
maybe
they called up Deming, and so that means Quick isn't. Although I think Quick should be playing more. Quick is 2 goals away from 400 wins, or 2 wins away, and so I really, really want him to get there. And the last 2 that he was in, last few, have been ones that the team should have won but failed to do so.
Yeah.
And look, where they're not like typically, well, this is what I don't like seeing is we've had some close games with not a lot of goals, but now you're seeing like the 5 goals. We had the Kings, and then the Lightning, some of them were just brutal Devils, so they're brutal. And like we got the Bruins coming up, right? So
yeah. Just looking ahead to the schedule really quick. We play the Bruins tomorrow, followed by the Capitals on Saturday, the Blackhawks on Sunday, then the Dallas Stars, the Devils, and the Golden, and then the Rangers go on their West Coast, one of their West Coast road trips, which is going to be Golden Knights, Avalanche, and Utah.
Yeah. So let's see. Look, the Bruins is going to be a frustrating game to watch because just like the Panthers did, Bruins like to drive the net, and
yeah, I
really have a problem with that kind of play because they're always scoring goals from inside the crease, but yet not getting called for any kind of goalie interference or anything. So I'm going to be watching for that. The Capitals game, again, should be interesting the way, but now, Ovechkin's back. He's been out. Now he's got his line to,
he's been playing well too.
To break the record. And this is what I want to see on that game. Mark these guys. I'm like, this is just being the hockey mom that I am. I don't know how you don't go out there and as a coach say, mark them, don't let them get a shot off, don't let them do this, so, but again, I kind of go back to when we had Tom on, and it'd be nice to kind of have him back on to kind of go through that thing again, where you can be a professional player, you can be all there, just kind of like our discussions on like you're paid this much to do it. But sometimes when you get a puck and what we see looks like you're like that guy's open, but he might not see that line of sight when he's on the ice, being down there and stuff. And so we just don't know what goes through their heads and the 3-second decisions that they have to make at the time. So that's why I kind of think it's just a series of unfortunate events. But I think directive is coming down from the top. I want to see how Quick's going to handle the Bruins and if they're going to do like their typical rush and bombardment of the net like they have in the past. And if they can get through Ovechkin, then we should have no excuse but to, we need to beat the Blackhawks. We lost to them last time. This team is in dead last. And they rely on one player who's 18 years old. So it's like,
yeah. And I'll tell you, the Rangers actually play the Bruins 3 times in the next 5 weeks. So this is going to start getting
the beat, and because they can kind of fall apart pretty easily if you can rattle them pretty easy. So, and they're usually not consistent. So
the Bruins this year are just right now in the Atlantic. They are just behind the Panthers in 3rd place in the Atlantic.
Yeah, but they don't have any competitions because everyone else is sucking so bad. We're not the only ones, And So it'll be interesting to see. I am who I do like seeing, and I kind of want to see him more because he's really kind of out there, is Berard.
Yeah,
so I know they're letting him sit out the penalties or doing this. He's kind of getting, but he's. I want to see. I think he just has a lot more potential. Like, again, put him on the ice. You tried benching or sitting out Kreider one day, do it again. I'm like, I don't know why, like they're putting the, investing in the time on the ice for these guys when these other people are just really like, they're the ones getting the shots off and they're the ones doing everything. And then when you put,
I think it might be time to sit out Zibanejad.
You like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, look, it's also weighing down on players like Panarin who have been scoring. They were doing this. And if you're putting them on a line with these guys that are taking the predictable shots and not trying anything different, you're kind of bringing him down too. So it makes the good players look bad too. So, look, some of the other guys on our friendly neighborhood podcasts are all like, just everyone needs to take a break. Hopefully everybody did. We're starting a new year. We got a couple more games to kind of get through before I really think they're going to figure themselves out. And then I think they're going to start getting their act together. But it also depends on how these lineups go. And if we continue to see them pulling people up, or heaven forbid, knock on wood, we don't want any injuries. I don't think Igor is going to be out for too long.
Do we know what the injury is?
They'll never say. So,
yeah. All right. Well, on that note, everybody. Maybe.
And it's the reason to give him a break, because he's been a little inundated,
Yeah. Well, on that note, ladies, Happy New Year. Thank you for joining this first episode of Double D-Fense of 2025. We will be with you through the good times and the bad, no matter what. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe, find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we will see you next time.
Yay!
Bye.